Hi guys, it's Marina Bay here with BFast TV. I'm here with Elaine Ann, the CEO of Kaizor Innovation. Kaizor Innovation, the company that brings brands to China and teach them how to innovate there. Thank you so much, Elaine, for taking time. It's a pleasure to have you here. Maybe we can start with you and how did you start the company and what's your background?
Okay. I'm originally from Hong Kong, and I was in the US for 12 years in the 90s. I came back to Asia in 2002 and then started my company, and it's been 16 years now. So we've been helping a lot of Western tech companies strategize the products for the China market.
So maybe you can share with us some cases. I mean, overall, like what exactly did you do to those tech companies, Western companies in China?
I think mostly it's, China's market is very different. In the West, you have a FANG, F-A-N-G, like Facebook, Google, Amazon, right? And then in China, it's a BAT, right? It's a Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent. It's a completely different tech ecosystem. And even the way it's designed is very different. I think the Western ecosystem is very specific, where each company does like one thing. Like Uber is Uber, and Airbnb, it's like more for hosting, homes and stuff. But in China, I think the mentality is very holistic. So even in so WeChat is like one super app that has like 30. It's the equivalent of 30 apps in the US. And you can in one app you can already like call a cab, go to a restaurant, pay the bills, pay for utilities, do like the whole day. I think mainland Chinese people can spend the entire day without leaving the app.
Elaine, can you please share with us about your background? I know that you spent some time back in the States and now you're here, you came back to Hong Kong. Can you please share with us what did you do in the States back then, and what made you to come back?
Okay, so I went to the US for university, to Carnegie Mellon University, and then I studied actually design, but it's more tech related. And now it's called user experience design. Back then, there wasn't even this word. So it's super related to technology, because nowadays with any kind of apps or smart homes or any tech products, there is a role in companies that's called user experience. And we also help define what the product is. So we go to understand users and then come back to strategize it in workshops and stuff. So while I was in the US, I worked for companies like very early on Razorfish in 1998, which later on got bought many times and then bought by Microsoft. I also did my master's internship at Philips Design. So both hardware and internet, I have had experience. So I've designed some of the early, like the first MP3 player by Philips. Wow. Yeah. And CharlesSchwab.com. Yeah, this is like early when it was from bricks and mortars to internet. Yeah, stage.
Mm-hmm. And then when did you come back to Hong Kong?
I came back 2002 after the dot-com bust. Yeah. So because I was in the US for 12 years already, and Asia is really my home. So and back then, I think it was the starting of more interesting design stuff in Hong Kong, like the first Business of Design Week, BODW. So I came back and thought I'll explore my career over here. And then I started my company because back then nobody really understand what I did in, when I talk about user experience or design innovation, like I think people don't really get what it is. So I had to start my own company and then helped a lot of Western companies in China.
Like at what point did you realize that there is a gap between how Western companies see the design, or how they see in general how to do business, and how like here in China businesses do?
Well, I think it's a lot of experience. Actually, when I came back, it was still not the internet age yet in China. It was still the industrial age. Well, back then, the brands that were known to people are like Lenovo, Haier, Changhong, the Meidi. It's all the home appliances, electronics brands. I think it was not until after 2008, after the Beijing Olympics, that the internet companies from China kind of took off. So it was then that my industry actually took foothold. So before that, a lot of the schools in China, design schools, they were teaching industrial design. Yeah, so it was like physical products. Yeah. Of course, back then was really backwards, but slowly industrial design kind of, improved a lot. And now our industry, even Alibaba has 1,000 user experience designers.
But back then it was still lacking behind.
No. Nobody understood what it was. Nobody understood what user experience was even.
But did the Western companies understand them? Like, what's the
Oh yeah, in the Western market, yes, because back then in 2000, before 2002, Yahoo was the company, right? Right. Back then, maybe now not anymore. Right now it's Google, but that back then, Yahoo, it was, Oracle, Cisco. Yeah, those, even Sun Microsystems, I don't know if you guys are old enough to know what that is. Yeah, Siebel, those are in I worked in Silicon Valley too, so back in year 2000 to 2002. So it was the beginning of the internet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of talk on smart homes, but it really never took off then. Yeah. So now I think China, like Xiaomi in China, has kind of made smart home very easy and very cheap to implement. Yeah.
So what exactly do you do at Kaizor Innovation?
Okay. So when I came back, what I realized was because a lot of the local companies in Hong Kong or even in China didn't know what we do. So I just, worked with a lot of my Western ex-colleagues or people I've worked with before who referred businesses to us. And then I realized what they actually need is they wanted to understand Chinese users. Western companies know how to innovate. They just don't understand the market. And we saw a turning point. In the early days, China was a market. So like out of, like multinationals, they do many markets, right? They do US, Europe, India, China, like Australia, Japan, South Korea. Back then, I think China was just a market out of many. But nowadays, I think it's the market because China has turned from the world factory to now an internally consumer-driven a market. So it's becoming more and more important. And I think globally, China is one of the biggest BRIC countries, right? BRICS. Mm-hmm. So is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America. So China is actually, I think, the biggest one right now with 1.3 billion users. Yeah.
So what exactly do you advise to companies that want to come to China? So you said, you mentioned that you at Kaizor, you focus on China market, you focus on innovation and together with technology, right? Mm. So let's say it's a Western company out of Silicon Valley, tech company coming to Kaizor saying, we want to go into China market.
Yep. I think usually the Western companies come over, they just want to do minor adaptations for the China market. And sometimes what we're selling is what they don't know. Meaning, let's say if it's a Western tech company doing a medical device, mm-hmm. Okay? So they might not know that in China, there's this other whole realm of knowledge and expertise on, like, say, acupuncture, acupressure. The whole concept of health is different. The way Chinese people view their body is we have qi and we have meridian points. It's a whole different world, right? So I think we're constantly challenged to explain to our Western clients that the way Chinese people sometimes think differently, it's a different connotation. And it's really interesting because I think it totally affects product development. Different behaviors, different lifestyles will produce different products, whether it's digital or physical products.
So I also have heard that Chinese society is like a group society.
Yes.
Like you cannot be an individual, and I mean, you of course you can, but you'd rather follow something and be part of a bigger group. Is it true?
I think Chinese culture is more collectivist, and let's say American is more individualist. I think this also affects how you design products. For example, Chinese people like to go to karaoke, like 15 people go to karaoke at the same time. And if you go to Chinese restaurants, it's usually like a table of 15 people eating all together, right?
Where you share the meal.
Where you share the meal, yes. And how this translates to products is on WeChat, there is a function called WeRun. So you, every day, like how much you walk, you can, there's a whole list of all your friends and like who beats who, right? It's like a list of, so let's say that day you walked like 20,000 steps, then you probably beat everybody else, right? So everybody is on the list.
Well, maybe we can jump into the WeChat features.
Sure.
Because most of us are not that familiar with features of WeChat. We know that you have a wallet there installed, and then it functions as a chat room, right, as well. And you can purchase, I guess, some services and products. But what else?
Maybe just to give some background, WeChat has 1 billion users, more than 1 billion users. Every time I talk about it, the number it gets bigger, right? The last time I talk about it is 800 million. Yeah, and also out of the 1 billion users, I think 100 million are outside of China. Mm-hmm. So that means people outside of China, well, they could be mainland Chinese using, but I think more and more there are also foreigners using WeChat. So WeChat is like 30 apps in one. So there's a feature called No Moments. It's basically like the Facebook wall. You post, your news feed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think the major function that WeChat has really mastered, and it's used daily by a lot of Chinese people. I think 800 million Chinese people are using WeChat Pay. 800 million is almost 3 times the population of the United States, right?
So this is the most popular feature, is WeChat Pay.
Yes, WeChat Pay. You pay with QR code. So the scenario is like, I think you can survive without any cash in China right now. You don't have to bring your wallet. So you go out with your mobile phone. Mm-hmm. So let's say you call a cab and then you call Didi. And then you pay with WeChat Pay or Alipay. And then you go to a restaurant, you scan the QR code that's on the table, and it will pull up on a mini program, WeChat mini program. A lot of restaurants now have all their menu on there.
Right.
So you can order and then pay right away before they even deliver you the food. Awesome. Yeah. And then, you go to the wet market, you buy some vegetables. A lot of the vendors, even the beggar uses QR code right now. So I think in all aspects of life, even e-commerce and all that, it's a lot of QR code, like scanning the code, or the shop owner scans your code, and then you can immediately pay right away.
Mm-hmm. So WeChat Pay, is it still linked to your bank account?
Yes. So it works like this. It works differently for mainland Chinese versus people who are outside, like even people in Hong Kong and foreign passport holders. In China, usually most people have a bank account, right, and they can link it to their debit card or credit card. I think for foreigners, like even for Hong Kong people, your credit card, it can be any credit card. It will ignite the wallet, meaning it's just saying that it's you're a real person that you can use it. I think a lot of people don't know how to use this, because you actually need to be referred by a friend who already has WeChat Pay.
So is this like by invitation only?
Sort of, like you have to be sent a red packet. Do you know what is a red packet?
So you put money in and...
Okay, so traditionally a red packet is a physical red envelope that you put physical money in during Chinese New Year, or your friends and family wedding, or have babies. It's more like a lucky money, right? WeChat has really smartly translated that physical habit and culture into digital. So now on WeChat, there is a function called Red Packet where you can send money either randomly. Like, let's say I have a group of 300 people in my WeChat group. So I can send a red packet. Let's say I just put in 100 RMB, Chinese dollars, and it will randomly distribute the amount. So whoever gets it first gets a higher amount. So it makes everybody really happy, and it's like a game. And during Chinese New Year or any kind of celebrations, people usually like to give out a red packet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is very Chinese. It doesn't exist anywhere else, I think.
So you're saying if you're in China, if you have a bank account in one of the Chinese banks, it's easy for you to get the WeChat Pay.
Yes.
If you're outside of China, if you don't have any bank account in Chinese bank, then it's kind of hard.
I think that's where the knowledge barrier is right now.
Yeah, I've heard that if you have friends, you easily can borrow some money from their WeChat wallets and pay for the services on your.
But there's actually like a limit to how much you can spend per year. I think it's 200,000 RMB. Yeah. So because there is money control in China. Yeah. So it's not like free flowing in that sense. Yeah.
What about other features, like let's say Facebook, right? You have a search bar and for example, I use it myself. Sometimes I can search something and use Facebook interface as a search engine. Does it work the same with WeChat?
WeChat has a section called Moments. So it's like the Facebook page, but like there are 9 photos that you can upload and then write some comments on whether you ate something cool or report on your life, right? It's not as powerful as Facebook per se, but what I want to say is because WeChat is more like, it's not just one feature, it's like many features in one. So from buying airplane tickets to hotels to taxis to mobile ride or OFO, like bike sharing, to investing your money. You can actually put the money in your WeChat wallet and you can invest it in their QQ, like their financial management app, and then get some interest out of the money that you put there. And also you can donate to charity. You can pay all your utility bills if you're mainland Chinese, like your water bill, your electricity bill, your phone bill, even your parking ticket. And you can also search all the hospitals in China, like what's the opening hours. And I think recently it's the mini programs that's most powerful, because with mini programs, it's actually a lightweight app that there's no concept of app store.
But then how for example, you mentioned hospital, how do I search them? Where I go?
So, well, there's this function where you can search all like by province, by county, and then there's all the hospital names, and then inside the hospital you have different, physicians or doctors, and you can make an appointment with them.
Okay, maybe you need to show me.
Yeah,
this.
I need to show you.
Okay, because I tried to search something, and you mentioned groups as well, like groups of people. You have groups of interest. How do I find these people?
Oh, one really cool feature from WeChat it doesn't even exist on WhatsApp and all that, is let's say I'm giving a talk at a conference to 500 people. I can announce a number, so I can go join private group, and I just randomly make up a 4-digit number. Let's say 4321, right? I announce this number, and the whole all the 500 people in the audience can just type the same 4 number and be all be sucked into this one group in under 1 second.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like on WhatsApp, you still have to get everybody's phone number and add one by one, right? But with this, no, you can add everybody at the same time.
Yeah. It's a thing. I remember a few years ago, I was at the event, and then the host told us to shake our phones with WeChat app open, and then we can get connected. So this is kind of an upgrade, I guess.
It both exists. It both exists. You can shake your phone and find people who are there around you. Yes.
That brings me to another question. So, can people meet each other? Like, would it work as a dating app?
Oh yes, yes. With the shaking one, you can meet some stranger next to you, but who knows who that is, and whether it's safe or not, right? Yes, yeah, you can.
But can you like browse not only people around you, but let's say in the city, like I mean, bigger proximity?
Yes.
And swipe
yes.
left and right.
Yeah. Well, it's not so swiping. It's just it will detect all the people like that are close to you in their vicinity. But one cool feature, I think it's now people actually don't even use business cards anymore in China. So if you're in a conference or a meeting, people just ask you for your QR code, and then they'll just scan you and exchange. So people no longer use business cards.
Save the trees.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, according to the latest data, there's a huge amount of money being transacted via mobile, and I guess it's because of WeChat and Alipay. My question: what's the difference between this? Is it Alipay is a different app?
It's a different app. Yeah, it's a different. Well, Alipay is by Alibaba. WeChat is by Tencent. So there are two different companies and they're competitors.
They're competitors.
Yes, right. But Alipay kind of evolved out of because Alibaba created Taobao, right? Which is like the e-commerce biggest platform on earth now.
It's an alternative to Amazon. Right?
Yes, it's comparable to Amazon, but it's way bigger than Amazon because I think it was November 11th, just a few days ago, last week. In one day, the sales was 30 billion US. 30 billion US is the entire years of Google. I think sales is 100 billion. So 30 billion is like 1/3 of that in like one day.
Right?
Crazy. Yeah, it's pretty shocking, right? Yeah, and it's been growing like year and year, like it's been growing like 40%, growth or something like that. Yeah. So Alibaba first came up with e-commerce, so that's why they developed Alipay. But WeChat is more originally from the chatting program, like more chatting like WhatsApp. Right. It was originally more messaging, and then the payment grew out of that. So you would find in China the earlier users who are e-commerce buyers and sellers, they are more on Alipay. But then now people are converting because, I mean, honestly, on a day-to-day basis, you communicate with your friends and family, right? So WeChat is much more of a communication channel. Right. Yeah, because you're not buying and selling every day. Yeah, so I think there are some people that are migrating to WeChat.
But you can use WeChat as
you can do both. Yeah,
I mean for business.
Oh yes. Actually, there's something called a WeChat mini store, but WeChat store. But it's basically you're selling in the groups that you created to your friends and family. Sometimes people they are sole entrepreneurs, sole proprietors. They would sell face masks to all their groups of friends in different cities.
And would the registration process of your WeChat wallet be different compared to just to have a WeChat Pay as individual?
In terms of, sorry?
So for example, if you're a business and you go to China and say, well, I want to set up my WeChat wallet so other people can purchase my product and pay me by WeChat.
Yeah.
So is it like a complicated process to
You mean as a foreigner?
Yeah, I mean in general to comply. Is there any compliance process?
Well, I think as a foreigner doing business in China, you first need to open a company first. That's way before even you decide to sell.
Well, let's say you have everything like on hand. You have a company set up in China. You have bank accounts.
Yeah.
So then you're registering WeChat account for your business.
Yeah, you need a bank account.
So you just link it and then done.
Yeah, you need to register a bank, open a bank in China, right? Yeah, so you need to have proof of address and you need to register your business in China. Then so all those legal things needs to happen, I guess, and also your work visa,
right?
In China. So it's possible for I also know quite a number of foreigners who are in China, working in China, and they they speak Chinese.
So, but if you
Yes.
don't have anything like this, can you
Mm.
still register business account linked to your, let's say, Visa or MasterCard?
I
Instead
think
doing
if
business?
you're outside of
Yeah.
China, is harder. Yes, you need to be. You need to have a business in China to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course, small amounts. Just like I met my friend, in Shenzhen. And he's from Hong Kong, and he just want a few hundred RMB.
Mhm.
That's not a problem. You can ask your friend to transfer you the money. But doing a business is there are legal issues and matters that.
Well, the reason I'm asking because just imagine, right? If you have a product, a gadget, and then you can start selling it out of Hong Kong, out of any European countries, just linking your PayPal account to your bank account, which is not possible, I guess, in WeChat. Am I right?
No, it's possible. I think there's just tax and legal issues, like visa issues, right? That you need to first take care of, before you do the business.
Which is not that fast, I guess. So.
Yeah, that would be the realm of tax lawyer and all that. Yes, to advise. I think. Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
But you will have access to 1 billion users, right?
That's the thing. Of course, people
Yes.
want businesses want to tap in this market.
So
it is true. I remember I interviewed the co-founder of Mobike. I don't know if it still exists.
Okay.
And they're just starting off, and I asked him, okay, so how many, on average, how many transactions do you have per day?
Yeah.
I mean, how many rides? He said, well, let's say let's take Chengdu. It's a second tier, I think, city in China, and we have on average 1 million rides.
Yeah,
and it just was the beginning.
Yes,
and taking into consideration that one ride equals at least 1 RMB.
Yes.
So the transaction per day
is 1 million.
Is 1 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the number is really big in China, because China has 4.5 times the population of the U.S. Right? U.S. is 320 million people. China is 1.3 billion. So just the sheer math is crazy. But a lot of times when our Western clients come over, I think the biggest hurdle is they don't want to lower the price. But if you look at data, in tier 4 to 5 cities, it's 870 million people. Okay. Tier 1 to 3, it's like, it's much less than that. So if you have your iPhone come in, then you price it at 10,000, then that means a very small population can afford it. Of course, it's very even 1% of China is huge, right? Yeah. So it depends on your strategy. But some of our clients took 10 years to figure that out, to cut features like in half and then cut the price in half to be more affordable for most people.
If you come to China market with your own product, is it really hard to be noticed? I mean, because there are so many competitors, and probably other Chinese companies can really copy you fast and lower the price. Like, is there any guerrilla marketing approach and say, here we go, and then everyone will notice you and start?
I guess it depends on what product. Dyson did really well. I think in the last 2 years they made 222%, like for the hair dryer. Well, they have the technology, right? They have the proprietary technology, and it's very unique product that nobody else can really copy that fast. And also recently the air wrap curler, I think that's also something that, I mean, although it's a 4,000 RMB price point, but people are willing to spend that money if you have a unique selling point. I think for a lot of Western companies, if they have more advanced technology that is harder to copy, there is still an edge. But if it's like white goods, like fridge or fans or like low end type of stuff, then I think Chinese companies are already pretty good in quality and on par. Even mobile phones nowadays, Huawei is pretty good. And we've heard a lot of Chinese users says, Huawei, they're also very nationalistic about their own company.
I mean, this is my next question. Would Chinese consumer prefer buy Western made Western brand or local Chinese brand?
Oh, I think it's hard to say Chinese user as one big word because there are many tier cities, many types of consumers. A farmer versus like a billionaire is like totally different. So I think it really depends on which segment. But the good news is China is so big, like even a very small segment in a very, very niche market is already huge, right? So I think companies coming in needs to be clear about who they're targeting. Yes.
Thank you, Elaine, for such a great insight. I know that Kai's Innovation organizes the special trips to brands to introduce China and how China innovates. Can you please share more about these trips?
Okay. So because we help a lot of Western companies in China for 16 years now, I notice like every time I come back to Hong Kong or even going to the US or Europe, I see a huge misalignment of information. The media in Hong Kong, even like outside, like even BBC, CNN, doesn't really talk about what I've seen in China. So we created these one-day trip first. Now it's in Shenzhen because we're in Hong Kong. So it's easy for companies in Hong Kong to just cross the border. It'll take only 1 day of their time from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night. And the way we've designed the program is in 1 day, we give them 10 digital experiences. So the entire day will be cashless. Number one, we teach them how to use WeChat Pay. We actually give them some money.
Okay.
Of course, they need to pay for the trip, but we'll give them some money. They can actually spend it, try to buy stuff in China. They can try sending each other red packets. We also have them try out how to take a Didi, like a Didi taxi. Didi bought Uber China, right? They actually brought them out a few years ago, and try to get on a mobike, which is bike sharing, where you scan the QR code, you can ride, few miles, and then drop off the bike, and then you can just walk away, right? And it's all through your mobile phone.
It's not only cashless; it's cardless as well.
It's cardless as well. Yeah, everything is just scanning QR codes. Also, we take them to DJI, the store. The store, and DJI makes a lot of these drones, right? And they own like 70 to 80% of the global market right now. Yeah, and so people can go shopping. And also, we take them to Xiaomi store.
What is Xiaomi store?
Xiaomi, in the early days, they were accused of being like the Apple copycat.
Right.
So they started off with mobile phones, but now they have evolved way much more than that. So now it's basically your whole smart home is with connected IoT devices. IoT is Internet of Things. So there is robot vacuum, air purifiers, rice cookers. Everything can be controlled through your app. There's one single app. So there are a gazillion products that you can buy, and at very, very low prices. They have a Mi Band, which is sort of like a Fitbit, which you can also see on your.
Although those products produced by Xiaomi, the vacuum cleaner,
yes,
and the
but their
rice
business
cooker.
model is really interesting because they don't actually produce everything from scratch themselves. They go around and invest and acquire companies. But a lot of the products look like the same family. It's white and nice design at a very low price. Affordable price, I would say, in China for Chinese consumers.
Right? You just go to the store and then you buy the whole family.
Yeah, you buy the whole family. You can even set up your smart home.
Right.
You just need to plug into the wall, the wall plug, and then you can make your light smart with remote. There's this remote button, and you can even like put these devices on your window, so when it opens, there's burglar, like it will alarm. There are surveillance cameras.
And so in the supermarket at the checkout, probably you can pay everything with using your WeChat.
Oh, supermarket. Alibaba has this new supermarket called Hema, Hema. Hema. It's like a hippopotamus.
What's so special about the supermarket?
So you go in, and a lot of the products are freshly imported from elsewhere, and For the Hema one, there's this checkout kiosk, right? So you can just scan your QR code and there's no real checkout line with a lot of people. Yeah, the interface is pretty cute with the hippopotamus in there.
So do you have real people at the cashier?
No person. I think there might be somebody to help you if you are stuck, kind of. But the other, I think Tencent owns Super Species, which is like a competitor to Hema, and you can.
Tencent owns the supermarket chain.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, that's why I explain China is like very holistic. They don't just get stuck with one industry. They almost get into every single industry that's possible. And
don't they mind that everything is owned by giant companies?
They don't mind. I would say this is like the one major difference, I think. Yeah. Let me just finish up the special, the super species. Super species, the supermarket, you can go in and scan the product with your mobile phone.
Right.
Like, let's say WeChat, you scan it and then you can walk out. There's facial recognition up there.
Just in case.
Yeah, there's staff there, but they won't check your bag, right? It's not like in US and Costco, they check your bags before you go out. They don't check your bags. Basically, if you stole something, I think they know.
Okay.
Yeah. And you were asking?
I was asking that don't people mind the fact that everything, I mean, all the businesses divided between giant companies like Tencent, Alibaba.
Okay, actually, I think it's interesting. That's like the number one big difference. I think for people outside of China, the number one concern is, oh wow, is the government gonna be checking my stuff? And well, one company owns everything. Like
WeChat knows about you everything.
Yes, basically. Yeah. Yes, basically. And I think people outside of China have a problem with that. I think people inside China don't have a problem with that necessarily. If you talk to a lot of mainland Chinese, they think, well, they actually trust Jack Ma, or they trust Pony Ma, and they think, well, to give up, and they know like at the very end is actually the government that takes care of. Actually, they trust that the government will take care of things better than any kind of random stranger.
Do you think it's a cultural difference, like the level of privacy?
It's cultural. I always use analogies like, let's say parenting styles, right? Chinese parenting style. I was shocked when I went to the US that my American friends would say, to say to their parents, you can't come into my room because it's my own private room, right? I have my own rights, okay? In Chinese culture, it's like, of course your parents can come into your room. They own you, right? you know, like they're in your life like forever. Even if you're in your 50s, your parents has the right to your keys even, right? So I think culturally it's different. And the way I think Chinese people think about the government is, we have a saying in Chinese called 父母官, means parents are like government officials are parents. I think how citizens view government is they're parents of the country. So it's a very different paradigm than in the US where, president is only for 4 years, and then, afterwards, there's election and you're just temporary, right? We give you the power to help us, govern the country, but, you're not on top. But Chinese have 1,000 of history of emperors and dynasties. So I think the way we see sovereignty is very different.
I think it's very, okay,
it's
maybe
very this is political, but...
No, these are great details that for sure every foreign company, especially who want to go to China, have to bear in mind. And I think this trip that you organize for everyone, just one day to experience how it works, how to be cashless or cardless, how to ride a drone, I guess in VR goggles, right?
Yes, VR goggles.
Or
too.
ride a bicycle for 15 cents.
Yeah, one RMB. Yeah,
Right, that's great. So for all of you who's watching, we have a special promo code. You can find it down below in the comment box. So yeah, subscribe while it lasts. Then the next trip is gonna be in December 1st.
December 1st, and then so we are planning on one trip per month right now on a Saturday, and the promo code will be XDC VIP001. The website is www.digitalchina.kaizor.com.
Definitely check it out, guys. All right, Elaine, thank you so much for taking time. It was a pleasure to have you here in our studio at Tencent We Start. For those who are interested in what Elaine does and Kaizor Innovation does, you can find more information on their website, which is www.kaizor.com. And Elaine, are you on social media? Can people reach out?
Yes, on LinkedIn and Facebook, you can search my name, Elaine Ann. Ann is my last name, ANN.
Thank you so much. It was Marina Bay, Be Fast TV. Thank you for watching.